everyone, I'm Keisha Charmaine and I'm back. And in today's video, I'll be doing a Q&A. I posted on Instagram and I asked you all to ask me questions for this video, and here it is. If you don't already, follow me on Instagram at Keisha Charmaine. I'm no longer at Killa Does That, but if you search Killa Does That, you'll definitely find me. I still have a page called Killa Does That, but my main page is Keisha Charmaine. Wants to make everything seamless and easy, so Keisha Charmaine on Instagram. So the first question is, why did you decide to leave red locks for black? So I decided to leave red locks because the maintenance of red locks is just a lot. Like when I was dyeing my hair to like re-dye it to freshen it up, I was doing it every like couple months. I'm not sure off the top of my head when I dyed my hair black, but it was probably in the summertime or like in the fall. So I've gone a long time without having to dye my hair, so that's ideal for me. I don't want to have to keep dyeing my hair and dyeing my hair and dyeing my hair. I love the look of black locks. I think black locks are really beautiful. They look really rich and they look really healthy and bright and beautiful. So it's not just because I didn't want to keep dyeing it red. I do admire black locks. What do you use to wrap your hair at night? Typically, I don't wrap my hair at night anymore. I just don't. I use satin pillowcases, and I find that that's enough for me. I usually don't care to have laid edges. My edges aren't naturally silky, so like that's just not a look that I'm trying to achieve. But right now they're pretty flat because I slept in a dread sock. This is called a dread sock. You can get them online at dreadsock.com, I believe it is. Just Google search dread sock and they'll come up. And they come in different sizes and different lengths. Different sizes to accommodate different lengths. And these are pretty good. But sometimes I just use like a scarf, a satin scarf, and I tie it around my edges, like, and I will leave my hair out. I don't often like to have my hair and my head constricted at night. So for the most part, I don't sleep in anything. Do you use a leave-in conditioner? Sometimes, rarely. Like sometimes I use, you know, different leave-in conditioners that I get sent. I get sent a lot of different products, naturally being a social media influencer, and sometimes I do like to use them. Cream of Nature has a nice one that I like to use. It's very lightweight, for instance. But for the most part, I don't use a leave-in conditioner. I would just mist my hair with water and oil it, and that's enough. How often did you have to refresh your color when your locks were red? When I had red locks, I was probably coloring my hair every 2 months. I know, right? Maybe 3. How do you prevent lint from accumulating in your locks? As often as I can, I cover my hair when I'm cleaning up, when I'm like sweeping and stuff, because oftentimes when we're cleaning and sweeping and dusting, the dust and lint like gets into the air even though we can't really see it, and our hair attracts it. So I cover my hair when I'm sweeping, but also I brush my locks. I use a soft boar bristle brush. So the hard bristle brushes may be too abrasive. I use a soft bristle brush, and when I brush my hair, I probably brush it from here down, because here is more frizz prone, because here the locks are not as mature as the ends. So I would just brush here. Anyway, this is where the lint tends to get attracted to anyway. So I would brush it like from here down with a soft brush, and then you see the lint gets into the brush, or or the lint flies out. So that's what I do. And also the bentonite clay mask that I did in my previous video, I found that really helpful as well. That brought lint that was already embedded into my hair. It brought it to the surface, or either brought it completely out or brought it to the surface, so I can easily pick it out. And I would pick it out with my nails, because I have nails. But if you don't have nails, then you may want to use a tweezer or something little. But if you can't get it, don't like force it, because you will rip your locks. You'll rip the hairs, and when you rip the hairs in your locks, you're weakening your locks, which will cause thinning and breakage in the long run. So be careful when it comes to picking out lint from your locks. Okay, just answer that. When the time ever comes to cut your locks, would you do another set? I believe so. Because just the kind of person that I am, I like to not, like, I'm really low maintenance. Like, I'm high maintenance when it comes to certain things, like my standards, like in life, like the things I tolerate. But when it comes to like the way I dress, my style and stuff, I'm pretty low maintenance, and locks are pretty low maintenance for the most part. So I think I would go back to locks once I cut my hair, which won't be anytime soon, so don't worry. Don't send me any death threats, some of y'all. But yes, I know I do definitely want to embrace my hair loose because I've never done that before. So once I have that experience out the way, I'll definitely lock it back up. Like, probably when I have kids, like I'll probably have locks again, because I probably won't have time when my kids are like young. Like, I probably won't have time to like detangle my hair and stuff. I mean, people do it, but I know I probably wouldn't want to. So I'll probably lock it up. So if I cut my locks off before I have kids, I'll probably end up locking it up again when I have kids. But I don't know when that time is gonna be, so I don't know when I'm gonna cut my locks, and I don't know when I'm gonna have kids, so yeah. Do guys ever approach you and compliment your locks? Yeah, absolutely. When guys approach me, almost 100% of the time, that's something they comment on. They say that I have beautiful locks. Oftentimes that's like their opening line, I guess. I'm not saying that it's not genuine, but that's pretty much something that, you know, when you have something that's really distinguishable, when you have something really identifiable, you know, that's what people comment on you for, men and women. So why did you decide to get locks? Now that could be a whole video on itself. I might have made a video on that on its own, but I've definitely wrote a book about it. Definitely check out my book, More Than a Hair Journey, The Black Woman's Guide to Self-Love and Lock Maintenance. I definitely talk about that a lot in that book, and the whole process and everything. But I'll say in short right now, I wanted to embrace my culture. I wanted to embrace my natural hair. I had a perm for like 10 years prior to me locking up. And I love locks. I thought that they're very beautiful, and I didn't really want to deal with a fro back when I was deciding on going natural, so I decided to just go straight into locks. And I have people in my family who have locks, and I always admired their hair. Like my cousin Lisa, like growing up, I looked up to her. I liked her swag. She reminded me of Lauryn Hill. I liked her swag a lot, and she had locks, and I was like, hey, like, I want that swag. I want your hair. Like, yeah. She still has locks to this day, but she maintains a certain length. I don't see her. I rarely see her because she moved away with her family. But shout outs to you, Lisa, if by any chance you see this video. My big cousin. What do you do about locks that have thinned at the root? Weak hair from pregnancy, but I've lost 1 or 2 from pulling too tight. Okay, so I'm glad you mentioned that in the end. Definitely refrain from tight styling, tight even tight ponytails, because that will really do damage to your edges, tight buns, things like that. So refrain from such styles, because that will wear and tear at your roots. I've personally never experienced thinning at the root, but I will imagine that is caused from excessive retwisting and excessive interlocking. Lay off the interlocking, lay off the retwisting, and let your roots thrive. Give them a break. But that's often an indication of your health and your stress levels. So be conscious of that as well, because oftentimes we think that we need to do something to our hair, but it's really sometimes it's internal when we have issues like that. How often do you retwist? Do you palm roll or interlock? I retwist. Well, I haven't retwisted in a while. I mean, in my last video, someone asked me, like, how do you didn't retwist your hair? How do you still have your parts? If you watch my videos, you'll see that, like, even when I come to you guys without a fresh retwist, you can probably still see my parts. Like, I know you can see my parts pretty well. And I think that's just because of how my hair has been trained. Ever since I got my locks installed, I retwisted my hair every 2 weeks, because that's how often I wash my hair, and I wanted to wash it and retwist it all the time. Well, I wanted to wash my hair and retwist it after every wash because I wanted my hair to form uniformly. So with that being said, I think that has something to do with why my parts are always visible, even when I go months. I've only gone months without retwisting one time as an experiment, but even then my parts were always visible, and I think that's part of it, the training of, you know, twisting it, retwisting it throughout my entire journey. But also I think that my hair texture plays a part too. I know some people who wash and retwist their hair very regularly, and still whenever they have to retwist their hair again, they pretty much lost their parts, and they have to create new parts, whether with their fingers or with the comb. I think that that tends to happen with the more coarse hair textures. My hair is coarse, but it's probably mostly like 4A and 4B, but mostly 4A. I think that has a part, that plays a part. I'm not positive, but I think so. What do I use to fix my hairline? I'm not sure what you mean by fix. I think it was a guy who asked that. So I know a lot of guys get shape ups with locks. It's not as common, but a lot of guys get shape ups still, even though they have locks, so you can do that. But if you mean like your hairline is thinning out, definitely try out my new oils. But refrain, like I said earlier, refrain from retwisting too tightly and too frequently, or palm rolling or interlocking too tightly or too frequently, because our hairlines tend to be a lot more delicate than the rest of our hair. So even if our hair in the back can handle it, maybe our hairline cannot. So consider that when you're dealing with thinning edges. Also, because you're a guy, I would assume that maybe you wear your hair pulled back all the time, like in a ponytail, and again, that's gonna cause damage to your hairline, just for the simple fact that it's a lot of resistance, it's a lot of pressure. I can't think of the word, but it's a lot on your hairline when you pull it back. So consider leaving your hair down sometimes, or loosening up your ponytail, loosening up your buns, and just leave them alone and let it thrive. But yes, I definitely do recommend my oils. My Emu oil is designed for specifically these problems. Designed. It is formulated for these specific problems because the ingredients are really good for regrowing hair. So it's a spot treatment. It's a spot treatment, so it's really good for problem areas like your hairline, nape of your neck, bald spots, thinning spots. So definitely give it a try. What's the best daily moisturizer? I personally don't believe in daily moisturizer. I shouldn't say believe. I personally don't moisturize my hair daily because I feel like that excess is unnecessary. If you find that your hair needs to be moisturized every day, I feel like you may be using the wrong products that might be drying your hair out, because I just don't see that being beneficial, moisturizing your hair daily. I mean, it's one thing to mist it with water daily, I get that, but if you feel like you need to like oil your scalp and oil your hair every day, I feel like that might be excess, especially some simple fact that like that's a lot of product buildup is never a good thing. It will cause your hair to be dirty, and your scalp to be dirty. So I don't recommend daily moisturizing necessarily. I'm not sure exactly what you mean, but oil and water mix can be a good daily moisturizer. An oil and water mist. Is there some magical potion I can take to hurry these locks up? If not, please stop posting pics. There's no magical potion, guys. You just gotta be patient. Hair grows, hair locks. So you just gotta embrace every part of your journey, because you're never gonna get it back. Did anyone inspire you to get locks? Do you have any lock crushes? Like I said earlier, my cousin, but just in general, just growing up in East Flatbush, Brooklyn, where all the West Indians are, and seeing everybody with locks, and like my family, like I said, I just always found locks beautiful in general. That inspired me. As far as lock crushes, like today, I know I had a video about lock envy, and I mentioned Narissa Irvin, so she's definitely one. I don't want my locks as long as hers though, but her locks are long and gorgeous. Danielle Locks, my girl Danielle, Lady Swag 55 on Instagram. Her locks are gorgeous. I love her locks. On Instagram, Lock Crush, I like her locks a lot. Her locks are so full and thick. She has a lot of hair. Fun, I love you, Fun. She has a lot of hair too. Like, her locks are really thick. So I admire really thick locks. Yeah. I could never achieve the looks that those women that I just mentioned. I could never achieve that lock look because my hair is just not that thick. It's just not. But yeah. If you could restart your locks, what would you do differently from how you started this set of locks? I would do it myself this time, just so I can say I'm self-made, completely self-made. I always do my own retwists. Like, I've never gone to a salon for a retwist ever. I've gone to salons to get my hair styled for a shoot or something like that, but I maintain my own locks. And I did go to a salon to get my locks installed, so next time around I would probably do it myself, and I would do them thicker, simply for the fact that, like, I've had to combine some over the years along this area and my nape. I've had to combine them because I feel like the lady who started my locks, she made those locks in particular too thin for or too small. Like, she made the parts the same size as like the rest of my head, so like, the parts around my head are pretty much the same size, but when you consider the fact that hair is thicker in different areas, having the parts the same size is not gonna give you the same size lock around your head, if that makes sense. If your hair is less dense in certain areas and more dense in other areas, and you make the parts the same, the parts where your hair is less dense is going to come out thinner, and the parts where your hair is more dense is going to come out thicker. Make sense? So I would accommodate the thickness and thinness of my hair in certain areas. So I would consider how thick and how thin my hair is in certain areas. So for instance, I will make the parts around my hairline thicker, and the parts right here, I'll make them a little thinner. Maybe. Now, I'll probably leave these alone because I like how thick they are. I'll probably just make sure that these parts are larger so that they can almost measure up to these, because there's no way my hair could possibly measure up to these unless they're like really big, because my hair is really thick in the middle. Do you know how to do temporary lock extensions on existing locks? No, I personally don't know how to do it. I'm not a hairstylist. I have in the past done retwists and styles for people for money. Like, I've had clients back like in college and fresh out of college, and here and there I do favors for people, but that's not I personally don't really like to do hair, so that's what I haven't learned. Like, I've definitely played with the thought. I've played with the thought so many times. I've definitely reached out to stylists to pick their brains, but at the end of the day, that's just not what I want to do. Do you ever miss having shorter locks? What's it like sleeping with long locks? I do miss shorter locks in the summertime. It's something about New York City heat, because New York City is a concrete jungle. Like the concrete, the way it like radiates the heat, it's like different. So it may be 90 degrees, but it will feel like 110 just because it's the concrete. So, and it's just unbearable. Like there's a couple weeks in summertime it's just unbearable, and I just like want to shave my head. So that's when I miss having shorter locks. But for the most part, no, I love the length. I love the length. But and sleeping with it is annoying sometimes. I have to position my hair a certain way for me to sleep comfortably, because I don't always like to sleep with my hair tied up in a ponytail or in a scarf. So if I'm sleeping with my hair out and about, I have to make sure that it's organized still, because I will end up like tugging on it a certain kind of way. Like when I lean on it and twist and turn, like I will end up like this if I don't like position my hair a certain way before sleeping. So it is something that you have to consider more often when your hair is longer, like how you sleep. Is it ever safe to use conditioner on locks? Absolutely. I use conditioner almost regularly. I don't use it as much, but I use conditioner. Especially if you color your locks, you want to use conditioner. But you said that you're a little less than a year locked, so I will have to ask, is your hair locked yet? You said I'm a little less into a year, but you didn't say if your hair is locked yet. I personally tell people if your hair is locked, go ahead and use conditioner. I know Curly New Growth here on YouTube, she's a stylist. She recommends that you use conditioner once your hair is budding. I believe that's what she said. I don't want to misquote her, but I can see how that makes sense, because you know when your hair starts to bud, that's when your hair is starting to lock. Once your hair starts to bud, your locks are intact enough, so the fact that like when you use conditioner, the conditioner is not going to unlock the budding. You know what I mean? It may unravel parts that are not budded yet, but as long as you have that bud in your lock, you're not gonna have to worry about having to start your locks over or anything like that. Like you can probably just palm roll it and be good to go. Or even if you're too scared to use conditioner while your hair is budding because you're afraid that it's gonna unravel, at least wait till your hair is locked. I started using conditioner, I don't even know when I started using conditioner exactly, I can't think, but you can go back in my channel and do some research if you feel inclined to do so. But sorry, that was like 8 years ago, 7 years ago, I don't remember exactly when, but definitely I know for a fact that I was using conditioner when I started coloring my hair. And I started coloring my hair on my 1 year lock anniversary. How can I get my retwist to last longer than a week? I've been locked for 8 months now, and my retwist never lasts me longer than a week. Could it be that way because I'm still in the budding stage? I mean, at the end of the day, to answer the last question, no, I will say no, because at the end of the day, no matter what stage your locks are at, your hair at the root will always be immature. So although I've had these locks here for almost 8 years, I've only had like this part for months to a year. So this part is still immature. So when you retwist your new growth, you're always retwisting baby locks, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So with that being said, you may want to consider how you're retwisting. Are you using clips? I definitely recommend using clips when your hair is shorter, because the weight of your locks isn't really going to hold your retwist in place like clips, like so I would recommend using clips, and I would recommend sitting under a dryer. Now I definitely won't recommend that across the board for everyone to use clips and use a dryer, no. But if you are having issues with your retwist not lasting long as you like, then I would definitely suggest you try using clips and try using artificial heat. When you colored your locks, what was the key factor in your locks staying healthy? I have a video on how I moisturize dyed locks. Definitely check it out. I talk about a conditioner. I talk about conditioner and things like that. So check that video out. What brand of dye is best? I really want to dye my locks, but I've never even dyed my hair before. I don't really like when people ask me questions like this, like what's the best product for this, what's the best product for that, because that's all, you know, subjective. It's all opinions. So but I guess you probably don't want to experiment when it comes to dye. So I'll say that my favorite dye for my favorite dye was probably Clairol Textures and Tones. I felt like I got the most vibrant results with those colors. When your locks were young, did you ever palm roll them in between retwists to help shape them? No. I only palm roll my hair when wet. I only palm roll it when wet because when I was first starting especially, I was always told, don't manipulate your hair too much when it's dry. Don't retwist it when it's dry. Things like that when it's dry, because that will cause breakage and thinning. So yeah, only after a wash. That's really enough. Like the hand and hair syndrome is never a good thing. That it could cause damage. So no. I mean, I don't know how often you wash your hair. I wash my hair, like I said, every 2 weeks. So that might be a lot of retwisting to a lot of people, but to me it was just enough. So if you wash your hair once a month, I can see why you want to palm roll your hair to help shape them more often, but I still wouldn't recommend you doing that on dry hair. At least mist it, at least. But I wouldn't even really recommend that. I personally would recommend to retwist and palm roll only after you've washed it, or at least completely saturate your hair. You don't always have to wash it for it to be wet. I get it. So at least have your hair saturated completely before palm rolling. In my opinion. Okay? Try it out if you want to. Since it's probably one of my most asked questions of what do I use to moisturize my hair, so I decided, let me bottle it for you guys and let you guys know. So I have my horsetail leaf growth oil, and it consists with some of my favorite oils, which are really good for moisturizing and they're really good for stimulating hair growth, especially the horsetail leaf. You may have seen the video of mine that I created a year or two ago where I used horsetail leaf in my shampoo to help aid in hair growth. And I didn't use the shampoo very often. I didn't remake the shampoo very often, but I started infusing it into my oil and I've loved the results. But I know horsetail leaf has been an ingredient that a lot of people have told me about. I've spoken to Rastas, they're definitely told me horsetail leaf is a really good herb for hair growth, and that's where I first heard about it. So I started, like I said, I used it in my shampoo, and then I started using it in my oil mixes that I create. So I decided to bottle it up for you guys. So it's 8 ounces, so this will last you for a long time, okay? And there's so many different uses. You can put it in on your scalp, your hair, obviously. You can put it in your oil and water mixes to mist your hair. You can use it for hot oil treatments. You can use it in your shampoo. You can use it in your conditioner if you use conditioner. There's so many different uses. You can use it as a pre-poo, you know, to oil your hair and scalp before shampooing, so that the shampoo isn't as stripping, so it doesn't leave your shampoo doesn't leave your hair feeling too dry. You can use it as an oil rinse. Basically, that's when you have your hair soaking in oil and water, and that's going to obviously moisturize your hair. Yeah, and it smells really good, so you can also use it as a hair deodorizer. So definitely check it out. Horsetail leaf growth oil, and this is what I like to use to moisturize my hair. Residue free shampoos. Like I mentioned in my last video, Neutrogena anti-residue shampoo. It's clear. I don't know, it comes in a bottle like this, see-through, completely clear. I don't know if it has different sizes, but I've always seen it in a size like this size. Definitely check Walmart, Walgreens, Target, Google search it. I get it at Walgreens. I don't have a Walmart by me. I live in the city. How do you curl your locks when they're so long? I have a video on me curling my long locks. Definitely check that out. My favorite tool for curling my locks are perm rods. Yes, perm rods, even though my hair is so long. Definitely check out my video and see how I do it. Pipe cleaners are also an option. I suck at pipe cleaners, but they work. Do you trim your locks? If you do, how do you fix the ends? I trim my locks only as needed, and when I say that, I mean when they're thinning. Like in all my years of having locks, I probably trimmed 8, and it's because they had like thin spots, so if I didn't trim them, they were gonna break off anyway. So I've trimmed those, and in those situations I haven't had to fix the ends, because as locks thin out, you may notice like they start to, it's not like a blunt cut, if that makes sense. So I never just trimmed like a healthy lock like this, and it's ended up having like a sharp end. I've never experienced that, but let me find one that I trimmed. This one looks like it was trimmed, and you might not be able to see, but like the end is not locked, but it's locking. I don't feel like your locks need fixing after you trim them, but you may mean maybe you don't like the blunt cut, the blunt look of cutting your locks, so I would recommend that you at least cut it in like an angle so it doesn't look so flat, you know what I mean? And the last question is, do you ever miss creating content mainly for YouTube, or do you prefer doing other projects more? Well, I mean, I'm still on YouTube very regularly, so I don't miss YouTube. I'm on here at least once a week. But I do enjoy projects outside of YouTube a little bit more. I prefer projects outside of social media more. It's kind of weird because I'm a social media influencer, but at the same time, like, I'm still human, and being a social media figure comes with a lot. It comes with people thinking they know you, and it comes with people making judgments. I don't even put a lot of my life out there at all, but just even the simple fact that I get people leaving me comments like, don't ever cut your locks or stuff like that, and I just be like, why? Like, why are you telling me that I shouldn't cut my locks? Because you watch me on YouTube do locks? Like, I'm like a whole person on my own. Like, outside of YouTube, like, I'm an actual human. Like, if you ever met me in person, like, I'm like real, like, outside of the screen. Why can't I do what I want? Like, even just little things like that, it just feels weird. It feels I don't even really know how to explain it. I can only imagine how celebrities feel, and because I'm not trying to compare myself to a celebrity at all, like, don't get it twisted. But I'm just saying, I can only imagine how they feel, because even those who don't put their lives out there, like, people still feel kind of entitled to you. People feel like they know you, and like, even like with paparazzi, like, why, like, how is that okay? Like, why are you taking pictures of people without their permission? Like, that's such an invasion of privacy. So like, when it comes to YouTube, like, I would never get so personal on here. Like, I do talk about things that I go through, but as far as like, I don't know, I don't know, like, it's a line that I wouldn't cross. So that's part of the reason why I don't necessarily want YouTube to be my main focus, and it's not. It was at one point, I guess. Maybe that's what you're referring to. At one point, I was pushing out videos like maybe 3 a week. but I stopped doing that because well, the main reason why I stopped doing that, it was because financially it isn't the best source of income for someone like me. I have what, 50k, almost 60k on YouTube. My videos probably average at like what, 4,000 views, like on average, like 5,000 views. That's not where you get the money on YouTube. Like, you gotta put out videos that make tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views on like a weekly basis or something like that to get like substantial money from YouTube. So as a full-time influencer, as a full-time entrepreneur, that's just not the most lucrative, the most realistic outlet for me. So I do like to, so to answer your question, I don't miss being on YouTube that frequently because it's not as beneficial. I still find it beneficial being on YouTube once a week. You guys, I'd never get comments like, Keisha, where have you been? I miss you. I don't get comments like that because I put out videos every week. But I don't miss putting out more frequent videos than that. The projects I do outside of YouTube, I prefer more because, one, they're more lucrative. My online store is my main source of income. Yeah, it's my main source of income, and I do enjoy creating my products for you guys, or curating products for you guys and sending them out to you. I love writing. I don't want to say too much, but I'll just say this: I love writing, so I'm gonna continue to write. Yeah, but at the same time, even I did say a lot of negative things about being a social media influencer, being a YouTuber, like the judgment and just the people feeling entitled to you. There's that aspect. Even though I'm not like a vlogger, like I don't do those daily vlogs like Latoya Forever. Like, if you look at those people's comments, like the comments where people actually put their families and their like relationships on YouTube, I just feel like, boy, I hope you're getting paid a lot, because the negativity you're bringing towards yourself and your family and your loved ones is, I don't see how that's worth it unless they're getting paid a lot, I guess. I mean, I guess everyone has a different mindset, so it doesn't bother everyone. That personally would really bother me. So yeah, I think I said enough. I hope I answered everyone's questions. This video has been long enough. Thank you so much for watching. Definitely check out my online store if you are interested in your infinity head wraps, your lock accessories handmade by me, your oils, your horsetail leaf growth oil, and your emu oil growth drops. Definitely check them out. They came out last week. They're doing well so far. I really love them. I love the products. I'm gonna love to hear your feedback on how they work for you. Definitely check out my book, More Than a Hair Journey: The Black Woman's Guide to Self-Love and Lock Maintenance. If you haven't already, gotten great reviews. Check out Amazon. You can also buy it on my online store. Yeah, that's it. I'm losing my voice, so it's time to go. It's just water, guys. It's water. Thanks for watching. Love, light, and locks.